All right, grateful for your time there. Let's quickly take a look at the newspapers this morning. The Vanguard is starting the morning and says NPP to stage Kumipreko again against Mohammed's toll levy. That's the story on the front page of the Vanguard. The BNFT says creating a Ghanaian-owned economy, public sector must work in the interest of private sector. That's the senior minister talking there. The Today newspaper says community senior high school overgrown with weeds and bushes, and then over 80 arrested in Operation Vanguard clampdown, and government makes U-turn on public sector employment. That's the Today newspaper. The Finder, export, free zones bag $30.9 billion in 2 decades and employs 30,357 workers currently. We must domesticate the Ghanaian economy of Safo Mafo. My government is fulfilling campaign promises. President Akufo-Addo and varsities told to maintain old fees for now. The Heritage says Amidu bitter over running mate snub, says Kofi Adams. And the Galamsey story is also captured by the Heritage. Vanguard arrests 26 illegal miners in Eastern region. The Daily Statesman, we are already fulfilling promises. President Akufo-Addo is the one talking there. And 30,000 metric tons chocolate factory for Ghana. The Daily Express says 40% of vehicles not tested by DVLA. And ABC News, former Ye boss sweat over 5 million CD cash. These are some of the stories I have with me. And the EU construct 224 housing units for workers. And group threatened demo over road towing levy. We'll tie that story in the other one on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. My guest to do the talking, the National Coordinator of the NPP, Kamal Abdullah, is with me. Good morning, Kamal.
Good morning.
Hope you're doing great.
I'm good, my brother.
Grateful for your time with us. And then former Member of Parliament for the Ablekuma Central Constituency, a member of the NDC, Honorable Chief Senator, is also here. Good morning, too.
Yeah, good morning.
Thanks for your time, too.
Thank you.
Great. Now, let's begin from this story on the Ghanaian Times has a story on the back page. The Vanguard is also carrying, is it the Vanguard? Yes, the Vanguard is also carrying the story on the front page. It says that the Ghanaian Times put it, group threatened demo over road towing levy and NPP to stage Kumipreko again against Mohammed's towing levy. The story is saying that the unimpeachable sources close to the acting chairman of the NPP has disclosed to the Vanguard that following the outpour of national anger that has greeted the scandalous approval of the towing levy by the Parliamentary Select Committee on Road and Transport, the ruling party is organizing a nationwide demonstration to register its protest against the conspiracy by the National Road Safety Commission and the Road Safety Management Services owned by this generation's notorious sneaky business mogul Joseph Seo Japan. That's what the newspaper is saying. Now, the Ghanaian Times says the coalition against mandatory road towing levy is gathering signatures to petition the president to halt the implementation of the levy. The petition could culminate in a demonstration by the coalition if the levy is not withdrawn. The coalition, which is made up of the Progressive People's Party, Committed Private Association, Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, Tanker Drivers Union, and others, say it is targeting at least 10,000 signatures to get the levy suspended. That's the story so far. Come on, let me begin with you. Is government against the levy?
Well, once again, a very good morning to your cherished viewers, and also good morning to Tete Chai, Honorable, and your good self. Whether government is against the levy is the question. I want to believe that it is the duty of any government found anywhere to ensure that the citizens they superintend over are not unduly imposed on some kind of hardships. And that is exactly the position of any government which is sensitive to the plight of the people. clearly speaking, nonetheless, we also have a duty to ensure that the national purse is enriched in a way to ensure development. So, to ask a blanket question as to whether or not government is against levying or a particular levy, I would say that, look, it will inure to the benefit of the people of this country to have had some levy imposed on them because of development. Nonetheless, such a levy ought be imposed with some amount of, human face in order not to inflict hardship on your people. Now, what is in perspective? Toll levy is in perspective. Now, if we are looking at the toll levy, we've had cause to talk about it a lot. Do we have an August House called Parliament? Yes. When did that start? And how far have we come with this toll levy thing? And what is necessitating this particular toll levy? These are questions that demands answers. First of all, I will look at the time frame of when it started. And no wonder the story has a caption saying that MPP likely to stage demo, as it were, against the toll levy. I'm not so sure the source alluded to by the paper when it says that, a very great source, or if you like, a very unquestionable source links to the acting chairman of the party. I have not heard him say this anywhere. What is common knowledge is that lots of us, including my good self and maybe Tete Chai, have come out to say, look, trust me, I've listened to the NDC, I've listened to the MPP, I've listened to other political parties. People have expressed their concerns over this particular, levy. What is our position? Our position is simple. It is not in our interest to burden the people of Ghana at all. Nonetheless, it will not also be in our interest to encourage the carnage on our roads.
So what do we do?
That's the point. You see, therefore, you come out with a measure. You see, if Parliament passes a law, I'm aware that, committee worked on this, finally it came out. It will interest you to know that, look, committee did this work or started doing this work, even when the MPP was in opposition. 2013, obviously, we were not in power.
Right.
2015, we were not there. Until it traveled to 2016, 2017, now we are in power. A committee is working on it. Again, not to impugn some polarization into it, but I would say that, look, we have a committee in place where at the end of the day, whether they did absolute due diligence to the work or not is also another matter. Because if you take the levy as a test, I asked a question. Motorbike, for instance, that you are asking owners of motorbike to pay 10 cedis. When it's time, or one time is due for them to go and then have their roadworthy renewed. 10 cedis. In the name of a towing levy. I ask a question. How many motorbikes do we have towed in this country? Are you getting me? So for me, there's a problem of implementation. The law ought to be looked at again. We are not saying that we don't have vehicles that have been abandoned on the roads, that have been parked where they are not supposed to be parked as a result of they being broken down, causing accidents. We are not saying so. We have them. Nonetheless, we are not also saying that in other countries we don't have some of these levies. We have them. But what actually is supposed to be the issue is that some school of thoughts have come out to posit that, look, clearly, if we have this as a problem, why don't we make it mandatory? Okay, make a law, make it mandatory for whoever is engaged as in a company to go out there, cite the vehicle that has been parked wrongfully on the road or that has been broken down, tow it, because after some period of time, 3 hours or 4 hours, you may cause problem, or 24 hours or whatever. You get them towed, then you can pay your fee. You understand? There are some school of thought who have said so.
So reshape of the law.
For me, look, it is not as if this policy is not a good one. It is the way we've couched it and thrown it out there that has a bit of a problem. Okay. So I think the implementation ought to be looked at clearly so that it will inure to the benefit of the people and also inure to the benefit of the lawmaker himself. So at the end of the day, to settle the matter, I think the minister has come out to say that, look, implementation will not just be immediate. they still have to engage, though they've engaged with the stakeholders, but they still have to engage further with the stakeholders of this
before arriving at a
Nonetheless,
decision.
this particular levy is not a bad one,
Okay.
but then it ought to be looked at with that human face so that it will not exert some hardship on our people.
Okay, grateful. Honorable Tetechai, should we scrap this?
Thank you very much, and good morning to your viewers. To scrap the levy, or not to scrap the levy, is an issue that we need to continuously engage ourselves in. We've all agreed that towing vehicles that are not in good shape on our road networks is very, very important. And I believe that even the coalition that have organized themselves to ensure that this mandatory towing levy is scrapped are not against the fact that when vehicles get damaged on our road networks, they need to be taken out. But what they are against is the fact that the toll levy is being made mandatory, where people don't have the option to opt for the type of service that they want. And that is the main issue. And then the other issue is about the cost. First of all, let me say that let's ignore the headline.
The caption, MPP to stick in Preku again.
Yeah, let us ignore it. And I believe, these are things that people will see. It is just intended to create a bad image for the former administration. I was a former member of the Roads and Transport Committee. And so, therefore, I know the genesis of this towing levy. It began during the days of His Excellency John Agyekum Kufuor.
Oh,
yes.
That far?
Yes, 2009.
No.
Oh, please. I'm telling you, please, allow me.
Come on, you're allowed to.
Come on. I will not come here
That's fine.
and tell things which are not the truth.
You go ahead.
Okay? I've been a member of the Transport Committee. In fact, the chairman for the Roads and Transport Committee previously. And I'm telling you on the fact that this thing started in 2009. You remember when this thing, the contract was signed, a company came out to say that they initiated this project. They brought the proposals to the National Road Safety Commission for implementation. At that time, there was no LI. There was no legislation to back what they wanted to do. Okay? It happened that the NPP as a government lost power and the NDC came in. Okay? After looking at the contract, we realized that there was no law backing that thing. So if you realize that in 2012, that the law backing that particular thing came into effect. And then the LI was also brought into being. I'm saying this to set the records very, very straight. Currently, the issue at stake is not the fact that people are not happy for government to ensure that vehicles that get
roads
damaged
are safe.
Exactly. No. What the people are against is the fact that broad consultations were not done in terms of the stakeholders. Because look, for a major policy that will go a long way to enhance our economic well-being, there is a need for adequate consultation to be done. And for most of the stakeholders, they believe that this was not done. And the issues that they have are issues concerning the mandatory towing, where all these things have been ceded to one particular company. They believe that, no, looking at other jurisdictions, that is not how it is done. It is by membership.
Right.
You decide to join or not to join. So that people are given the free hand to decide on which company to join to operate these towing services. But in our case, it wasn't so. It has been ceded to one particular company, which is having monopoly. And they believe that per some of the things we've done over the years, they don't believe that they will be able to provide that adequate services that they need.
If the monopoly
and that is why they are calling for the review. Okay? So even if you look at Parliament, what the Parliament Select Committee, the current Select Committee on Roads and Transport decided to do. They were trying to mediate between the stakeholders to come at an acceptable decision that will inure to the benefit of all. And that was exactly what they did. Even what they did was not something that was sanctioned by the Speaker. So it was not binding on Parliament. But then it was, as a committee, they had that right to ensure that when grievances come up as a result of policy, the committee that is in charge can call for a meeting.
So for you, this levy we should go ahead with it.
It is very important. No, the mandatory aspect is what is in question now.
Okay.
Okay.
For instance, motorbikes being asked to pay is also a challenge.
But the aspect of
the amount of money being paid.
Exactly. These are the two issues in contention, and I believe that the management of, the company and government has a role to play. They should sit down together and see how best this thing can be restructured. So that at the end of the day, when the stakeholders are happy, definitely it will inure to the benefit of all of us, because we want our roads to be safe.
So the general consensus is that it's a good thing, but we need to take a look at it again.
Exactly.
Just 10 seconds and let's move
10 seconds, yes. I think when we try to draw in equalizations and state, maybe, I don't know if I should say factually correct or factually incorrect, some bit of history to this matter, and yet we don't deal with the core of the issue, we're going to create further problems. Simple. He talks about this two levy thing starting within in the era of
2009.
2009, obviously, Kufuor was not in.
He said before he left.
So if you say Kufuor's time and they are talking 2009, that's a clear case of infactual, positing or statement. Because 2009, Kufuor wasn't in power at all. You got it. Then when we draw in this, the activity itself, which is to help us clear our roads. I just came from Ashanti region, last night. And of course, I've seen a couple of vehicles parked on the road there, which are supposed to have been broken down vehicles. And we see the kind of damage sometimes it causes on our roads. Except to say that, look, we cannot continue to burden our people with this. So when we come to sit here and we say, it started with Kufuor's time, and yet you are telling me again that 2009, then of course there's some disconnect.
Yeah, in fact,
let me
correct.
Now let me land. I'll just land and come in.
Now, 2009 to that particular
now, how do we meet it? Kufuor's time, we had a full-blown
parliament. It's just like meeting this current
arrangement.
It's the same thing.
I'm trying to.
You are saying that there wasn't a law, and I'm saying that we had a full-blown parliament. Yeah. Okay, and parliament was in place. LIs, of course, are passed by what? Parliament. Yeah. We have also laws passed by Parliament or acts passed by Parliament and all that. Regulations and all this thing come from your district assemblies, our district assemblies and all that. Now, the point is that if you are telling me that we had a Parliament and Kufuor's time started this, and you want people who are watching us to believe in this.
It is the truth.
Then they started it without a law. I shudder to think is the truth.
No, it is the truth.
Is it discussions that were started? Or
very well.
The shaping of a law?
Absolutely. What are you talking about?
No, listen to me. This company started the entire project with the National Road Safety Commission. You can, after the program, you can do a check.
I think
you can call engineer. No, it's very important. It's very important. You come, when a government comes into office, whatever the previous government started, definitely it comes before you. And I've been with the Road Safety Commission since 2009.
So you met this towing levy?
Exactly.
Oh, really?
Yes, I've been with the Road Safety Commission as a procurement
we left 2008.
I'm on their procurement board. So I know this case.
And I'm saying that President Kufuor was not in power in 2009.
Oh, listen to me. We were in the office. I'm saying we came to meet it.
So when the caption says
they were even threatening. Let me tell you, hold on. They were even threatening the National Road Safety Commission to take them to court on this matter.
Who were threatening?
The company, Routine.
Okay.
They were threatening the Road Safety Commission management.
After having signed a contract?
Exactly, at that time. But there was no law backing whatever arrangements they went into. And that is what I'm telling you. In 2009, I was a member of the Ghana National Road Safety Commission's procurement
I am not arguing that
entity.
it's
Okay,
not foreign.
all right.
Economic policy.
So,
was that
gentlemen, let's
before was
move
not
on.
important to
The National Economic Forum is on, and fallout, a lot of it have come out. The BNFT this morning talks about one of the main issues. It says that creating a Ghanaian-owned economy, public sector must work in the interest of the private sector. That's a senior minister talking there. The Today newspaper says that government makes U-turn, and it says that contrary to the view of the then opposition NPP, now the ruling government, that the past administration was insensitive by freezing public sector employment. Senior Minister Yosafo Mavu has disclosed that government does not have the capacity to employ more public servants. According to him, the sector was full and government might be forced to lay off some workers if they need a rises. That's at the Ghana Economic Forum in Accra. If you take the BNFT, it carries the same story and talks about the same issue and says that in creating a Ghanaian-owned economy, there's a need for a mindset change in the public sector, where its energies would have to be consciously geared towards assisting the private sector to grow and employ people. And that's where he said that today we have a program with IMF. The public sector is full in terms of employment. We can't employ people. Perhaps we have to even lay some off, the minister said, adding that the only way out is for the private sector to be assisted to create the jobs that we need. That's at the Economic Forum. Honorable Teteche, let me start with you. Government says that the public sector is full, and so there was a need to enhance the private sector to be able to rather employ the hundreds of graduates we're turning out from the public universities. This is indeed good if we're thinking about taking care of the public purse.
Right. Politicians as we are, we need to be very careful in the things that we say, especially when we are in opposition. It is very, very important. And I believe that the voting public should also do due diligence of politicians, whether as people running for parliament, people running for president, and so on and so forth, about some of the things that we say. We should be very discerning. Look, Bright, I have been on your show for almost, I think since 2008, 2009, sorry. And one issue that we constantly discuss about the economy of this country is the issue of unemployment. And I quite remember one of the low points of the former president of this country, that is His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, was the issue of the fact that the MPP constantly indicated to the good people of this country that we've gone into an arrangement with the IMF, and that arrangement seeks to stop public employment. And so therefore, if they allow the NDC as a government to continue ruling this country, the youth of this country will never get employment. And that they should vote for them, and they will ensure that employment will be made available. Now, we are listening to the senior minister. Now, the reality has now dawned on government that the things that they said when they were in opposition were not true. I've always said that, look, if you look at the public sector of this country, even chairs, even offices to sit, they don't have. Go to the ministries. People perch to work. They don't have space. And even to make matters worse, currently, we've all seen what is happening with even our young men who wants to serve this country voluntarily. The national service personnel. They don't even have space in our public sector. Today, managers of the national service scheme are begging public institutions to find space for this youth of this country. It tells you that is the reality.
Isn't it
There is no space in the public sector. Please, let me finish. You have your turn.
Okay.
There is no space within the public sector.
The man is so much energized this morning.
You see, we need to tell Ghanaians the truth. And I believe that truthfulness in governance is key.
Absolutely.
But isn't it why he's saying that then let's energize the private sector to step in?
Thank you very much. That is why I'm saying all this. Now look, we should be honest to tell the people the truth. The truth hurts. But when the person understands that what you are saying is the truth, he takes it in good faith and then moves along with you. Okay? So, now the finance minister has seen the senior minister has seen the reality, because nurses are demonstrating day in and day out. People in the Greek field are demonstrating day in and day out. People are picketing at the ministries day in and day out. And there is no space for these youth to be employed. That is the reality. So what should government do? You quite remember when the former president was opening up our infrastructure to generate growth, employment. You saw what he went through. But within the public sector, that is the only thing you can do as a government, to create space. Because most of our districts, regions are deprived in certain facilities that we need. Health, education, and so on and so forth. So when you open up the economy, you create the opportunity for employment to be generated. Okay? Another way of creating employment is to create a very enabling environment for the private sector to be able to employ. And that is what the senior minister is referring to. So for me, I'm happy this morning that for once, politicians of this country have seen the reality and will now want to tell the youth of this country the truth within the system. And for me, I'm happy this morning.
I'll come back for us to talk about domestication, but come out. So the Today newspaper says that government makes U-turn. Is this indeed a U-turn?
Well, once again, I will say that there's a piece in my brother's submission which said truth must be part of governance, if you listen to him clearly.
Exactly.
And I'm so happy that he said so. Right. We have over 26 million Ghanaians, as we said today. And the strength of the public sector is close to about 600,000 workers, or a little above 600,000 workers. That's the strength. We have had, as a government, okay, to say that, look, let's create jobs for the people. Nonetheless, creating jobs for the people will not just dwell on the public sector alone. It has to come also with measures put in place to ensure that you get the private sector given a boost so that it could absorb so many people. Now, what is significant about me mentioning 26 million people and above? And also telling you that out of this 26 million people, just about a little above 600,000 people are supposed to be in the public sector, right? Any government that comes to power employs if there's a vacancy. Okay, if there are vacancies, let's fill in the vacancies. Any government, 7 months down the line, or 8 months down the line, we had a government which was even doing employment into the public sector. Not too long ago. Even when it is dawned on you that you have lost the election, you are going to be out of government, within even 2 days before the new government was sworn in, employment letters were given to people into the public sector. I'm not saying they are not Ghanaians. They are Ghanaians. I'm not saying we hadn't got a president. We had a president. Or we hadn't got authority in play. We had authority. Nonetheless, objectivity demands that these people you are putting on board to come and be part of the public sector will actually depend on the public purse. As a state, you took us there. We were not there. You took us to IMF. Got the IMF, even after telling us that you won't go to IMF, all that, you still went there. Having gone to IMF, let them to come and help us out. Our hands are tied. Then at the same time, you put in again some pressure on the public workers force. When after doing this, the new government can say, no, government, go and employ so many people into the public sector. This is absurdity you want to create in the system. And I think when NDC does this, it's so bad and so wicked, with all respect. This morning, I have to say that. What is the finance minister saying? Finance minister is not saying that we will not engage people in this country. Finance minister is saying simply that yes, if we are looking at 600,000 and a little over 600,000 people, and we've had people already on board, how, I mean, objectively or clearly or prudently, it will not be proper for us to what? Exert much pressure in terms of getting the workforce again to the public sector. However, lots of openness. I'm happy by what the president said in the Western region. By August, this August that we are in, one district, one factory starts. One district, one factory starts. And as we speak today, by 2020, the Western Railway line will be completed, not just started, completed. And you know what that means? It means that the private sector is gradually going to be given a boost because companies will actually be engaged to do this work. And when companies are engaged to do this work, they will surely be needing manpower on board or labor on board. Those who were actually looking at the public sector and couldn't get and have the expertise to work with these companies will surely be what? Giving some respite. The one district, one factory thing obviously is going to be an employment-driven, as it were, measure. As we see today, we are looking at other areas where the private sector will be giving a lot of support. And now, we just not too long ago, we heard of this initiative with entrepreneurial initiative program, which is coming up. Clearly, that is also going to be given a boost. And I know the private sector would actually be catered for. So nonetheless, we are not saying no jobs. For someone to say we've made a U-turn, if specifically you are talking about public sector.
Let me ask you this. If we are not employing into the public sector, what happens to teachers, nurses, other health personnel that we are turning at them who have to be employed in the public sector? What happens
when you even take the IMF program, which they are alluding to, or which, of course, my brother is talking to. The IMF program has not told us that we should not absorb teachers. I'm not too sure.
Yes,
teachers,
of course.
It has not told us we shouldn't absorb nurses.
But, yeah.
I'm not too sure. These are critical and essential areas, and we agree that teachers, of course, do we have deficit of teachers? Yes, we do. Go to the hinterlands. You realize that we don't even have the number that we need. And IMF program has not told us anywhere
the sector
that we should not have
is not
teachers.
open enough to employ these persons.
No, I'm saying that as we speak today, we are dealing with over 600,000 people. And of course, when you take the IMF program, I'm not too sure the IMF program has told us that we should not have educational sector looked at. Not at all. Except to say that some special teachers, some people teaching kind of initiative that we had, at the end of the day, which would of course come to give us some pressure or put some pressure on our economy, is where we have to look at. But nonetheless, when it comes to, yes, our previous arrangement from training colleges or so, we are going to absorb you into the system, post you out there. I'm not too sure the IMF program has said we should stop it. So when you ask the question whether teachers and nurses would be stopped, the program itself has not dealt with that. And of course, that is going to go on.
Okay,
Right.
I'm grateful.
Right.
Quick one, then we'll move on.
Right. I can understand my colleague, the difficulty.
What's the
with
difficulty?
which
I'm not
responding to this.
don't
No, it's a
no
basic fact.
difficulty.
Yeah,
What's the
you
difficulty?
are having some challenges there.
What challenge?
But you see, this was the same
Oh my God.
party that told the good people of this country that, look, we've gone into a bad arrangement with the IMF. And
So we should come and throw it away?
that's
That's not the way it's done.
You've
It's
even
not done like that.
extended it.
You neglected
No,
that.
no, please.
You didn't listen to
please.
that. You went there.
No, please.
You do throw it away like that.
Please.
We don't do that.
Oh, is that so?
That's not
But
the way it's done.
that is the understanding
don't.
you made the good people of this country.
No.
No. That
No,
we
we don't do
have
that.
gone into
No.
a bad policy. And then when
No.
you come, you are going to review.
It is
all
our
those
prayer.
things.
By next
And
year,
even-
April is
hey,
off.
Hey, wait.
You know that.
Wait. You've extended it up to the end, 2018. Why did you do that? You see, and these are the things that I tell the citizens of this country, that look, we need to be very mindful of some of the things politicians say.
Look,
And we hold them accountable. He made mention of the fact that before we left office, we were doing employment. Yes.
You did, yes.
Yes. Because we had put in place the foundation for expansion of this economy. Yes. What is the essence?
And it only dawned on you on the 5th of December.
Come on, you allow him to.
Allow
I'll come to you if there's the need.
Oh, no.
Come on. What is the essence of opening up more district hospitals? What is the essence? What is the essence? To create space for employment. What is the essence of the secondary schools that we were putting up? To create more space for teachers to be employed. That is how you build your economy. Infrastructure is key to economic development. And that has led to the number of employment that we started putting in. Since you came into office, those vacancies that we've left as a result of the infrastructure that we put up, your government has done employment into those areas. Do you think if those infrastructure were not there,
what kind of infrastructure?
you can do employment? No. And that is why in the ministries, employment cannot be done. Because it's the same structures that we had in the colonial era that are still there. Right, has it changed? No. So until somebody leaves that office, there's no way you can employ. So as a government, what you need to do is to look at the deprived areas, put up infrastructure, so that it will also lead to economic development in those areas. And it will lead to employment for the youth of this country. That is what we need to do. Yes, the private sector will employ, but government still needs to what? Provide the infrastructure that will lead to employment. And that is what I want all of you to understand.
I'm grateful. Let's move on to the Daily Graphic this morning. The fight against Galamsey, the task force illegal miners clash. One miner were told dead, 100 arrested. Ghanaian Times put it at 80, others have 37. But Daily Graphic says one person has been shot dead at Wawase, that's near Obuasi, near Ashanti region, while more than 100 suspected illegal miners were arrested by the National Anti-Galamsey Task Force 1 week after it began operations to clamp down illegal mining in the Ashanti, Western and Eastern regions. 25 floating machines have been seized. Apart from that, we're also told that the illegal miners pelted some members of the task force with stones in an attempt to scare them from pursuing their legitimate mission. Some members of the force are said to have been shot at by the miners, a situation which compelled the latter to return fire, leading to the death of the suspected illegal miner. He said that the story says the circumstances that led to the death of the miner at Wawas were unfortunate and regrettable, but the task force was quick to add that the incident would not dampen the spirit of the members of the task force in fighting illegal mining. Major Pebi speaks for the task force. The body of the deceased has been deposited at Anglo Gold Ashanti Hospital while the police continue with investigations into the matter. Come on. So we over 100. That's what we're told. Arrested. One person, unfortunately, has been killed. Can we say that the task force is on course because we've made arrest and one person has been killed?
Is Galamsey a canker?
It is.
It is? Very good. Are we supposed to fight against it? Yes. Have we set up a task force to work on it? Yes. Now, has the president promised that indeed we will do everything in our capacity legally to ensure that we save the environment of this country? Yes. I mean, these are the matters which are very salient in our body, as it were, politicking today in terms of fighting this Galamsey. Not the NDC, not the NPP, and not the PPP or the PNC or any political party is happy with the destruction that actually our environment is being given as a result of this illegal mining. Now, if we are all on the same page, and in fact, not even the fourth estate of the realm, which is the media, is happy with it. Now, if we all agree that this is what it is, and this is what is actually happening to us, and we need to clamp down on that, then the president initiates a move like this. I think it is only better, it is only proper that we commend the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Wherever he is this morning, God bless him. Yes, as for the casualties, it's expected. Whatever is illegal, that you're going to fight against it, and the people you meet them with some resistance. Obviously, we're going to have some bits of casualty. But it's not in our interest at all, and will never be in our interest, to have even a single life lost in the course of the struggle. It is not, and it's not also in the interest of the president. I think what we should do more and further is to continue the sensitization, okay, of our people against this Galamsey thing. Let them understand that indeed we still have to push. I would make a recommendation here to the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. If you don't have a budget for it, maybe we have to start looking for that budget. The media came together to fight it. I'm aware TV3 has done some bit of documentaries on it. I'm aware some other media houses have done some documentaries on it. Are we being pushed? Who is paying for that? Can the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources sit down and say, let's have a small, as it were, budget? Liaise with the Minister of Information. Get in touch with the media. Let us have some, continuous documentary, some continuous education and public education on this menace the Galamsey is causing us in this country. It's not enough for me to say that let's deploy task force and go move up. Some people, of course, unscrupulous as they appear, are going to read some political meanings into it, and it will lose its significance, the fight. But if we are going to, as it were, include the fight with the media also being potent on it, trust me, we will achieve it. You know what? Some time passed, there was this celebration of Valentine's Day which went haywire. I remember very well when the Ghanaians misconstrued the Valentine's Day to mean that let's get to the beaches, let's get everywhere and show our love to someone we are not even married to and all that. Then after the program, you go count empty condoms for God knows how many you are going to count and all that. But the media stepped in. And when the media stepped in with that positive message, and it was solid, Ghanaians listened. So for me, the strength of the media must not be lessened at all. And it's about time government, apart from the task force, include, as it were, the potency of the media to the fight. We don't just have to leave it to the prey of the media. As and when they decide, then they say, oh, let's talk about Galamsey. Then we talk against it. Or you call social commentators or political commentators who come and sit down and say, let's talk about Galamsey. It's not enough. TV3 must have series. Metro TV must have series. Joy News must have series. Let radio stations selected have series. Community radios use them. At the end of the day, we will make an impact. Let them understand this. Otherwise, we'll be where we are. We'll end up coming to sit here, and then maybe someone will side with me. No, these people were not treated humanly well. That's why somebody is dead. This person has not done this. A whole lot of issues. So I think to help Major Pabi and co, okay, to succeed, let us include the media in this
fight.
war.
I'm grateful. Honorable Teteche, so the Vanguard task force is okay, but he is suggesting that we need to do more, and he is talking about more education.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, first of all, let me commend the task force for the good work that they've been able to do over the period that they've been in the field. It's rather unfortunate that a life has to be lost as a result of the fight against illegal mining, which has destroyed our environment. I believe that when issues of the environment come to the fore, no Ghanaian will ever support anything that will lead to the destruction of the environment. Because once the environment is destroyed, human beings, we don't have a place to live in. And the fauna and flora within the environment is very important. And so therefore, as human beings, we need to make sure we keep all these things in place. And that is why every Ghanaian is against illegal mining, which is destroying, especially our water bodies. That notwithstanding, we also need to commend His Excellency the President for the resilience in fighting this menace. The challenges in it are very difficult, but I've always said that to be a leader is to be assertive and to ensure that the right things are done. And on this fight, I'll continuously commend the president for his stance on the fight against Galamsey operations, which is destroying the environment. That notwithstanding, we also need to look at alternative processes that will also go a long way to nip this thing in the bud. Because this is something that people have done over the years. We've been told that since independence, mining, even small-scale mining, has been something that started with us. And so therefore, eradicating it at once will be very difficult. Very difficult. And you need a very strong will to be able to succeed. But for me, what we need to do as a country is look at the alternatives. And what are the alternatives? What can we do as a government to ensure that we improve upon productivity within these communities? It is very important. People go into illegal things simply because sometimes they don't have the alternative, or they are not guided as to which one is the alternative. And so therefore, education is very important. We need to constantly educate our rural folks, especially those within the mining areas, as to the effect of the activities that they embark upon. And then have a controlled way, because mining will definitely go on. I listened to the president when he went to the Western region. Yeah, mining will continue, by the way. We are not going to stop mining in Ghana. But then it has to be done in a structured way that at the end of the day, our environment will not be destroyed. So as we employ our military men to safeguard the environment, government should, as quickly as possible, look at alternative ways to support our young men and women within those communities, so that they will have an alternative to mining. And even if they have to continue with the mining business, it has to be in a controlled manner, so that it will not lead to the destruction of the environment. So we need to look at the two side by side. It shouldn't be one way. The military just going on them, the military just going on. No. The other aspect, it will not work. It will not work. Because look, I've always said that, look, sustainability is also an issue. Because the activities that they are being asked to do now, the country is pumping resources. The country before then had not budgeted for such an activity. Okay? It is when we all realize that such that activity is destroying the environment. That is why we brought on board the military. And so therefore, it is a cost to all of us. But the question is, can we sustain that cost? And if it's just one-sided, for me, I don't think it will be sustainable. We need to
do a balance act.
A balance act, so that at the end of the day, we'll be able to nib it in the bud.
Let's go to wrap up with this one.
Yeah.
Maintain 2016-2017 fees. Varsities order. The National Council for Tertiary Education on Monday asked the management of public universities to maintain the 2016-2017 academic year levels of fees and charges, while parliamentary approval is sought for any adjustments for this year's academic year's fees. Now, this was signed by Professor Mohammed Salifu, who is the Executive Secretary of the Council for Tertiary Education. Don't forget that when this story broke, the chairman of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee of Parliament, Honorable Mama Yarga, has threatened to take the government to court if the law is not followed and if the fees are not approved by Parliament. And so the public investors have been asked to stay on, charge the old fees and hold on whilst Parliament deliberate on the new or the proposed charges. Come on, some good news for students of universities who were worried about the amount of fees they were to pay for the new academic year.
What's the story saying?
That they've been asked to pay the old fees while Parliament deliberates on the new, the proposed fees.
Very well. I think it's some good news for all of us. And if you are not even in school now, you would have a brother, or if you like, for those who have kids who have grown by now and supposed to be in the universities, would also be, affected positively by this news. I think it's important we try to find a way making our education less expensive. Not too long ago, I was so happy that the government of the day proposed, and I don't know how that has been implemented, that some 25% taxes or corporate taxes on our private universities be scrapped. And that was a very good move. I was so happy. Because if we have a government that is sensitive to the plight of people, these are some of the news or positive news you hear. Now, when the child sits to say that, look, we've done X, Y, Z, and nothing has been done, and promises have not been followed, when in fact they told us NHIS was going to be 110 premium, and they never did it. He has forgotten about that one anyway. But we have come to tell you that at least we are a listening government. We are a government that is sure, okay, or surely put to ensure that indeed the people of this country are given a facelift in terms of, support and all that. So students should go home laughing. Students should go home smiling. Parents, or if you like, guardians should also go home smiling. Nonetheless, I'm happy this idea about Parliament going to look at it before it's passed. Is up. Let us not do anything without, consulting the law and what the law says. We are aware of what has happened in some other universities where problems have come out regarding their governing councils and all that. I mean, I don't think we should get there. So if you're doing anything, it should be with recourse to the law. And when it's recourse to the law, I guess we are going to be good to go and move on. So students, be rest assured that the government of the day is one that listens, one that, of course, ensures that the plight of the people they are sensitive to, and one that will not unnecessarily burden you. That is why we have come out to say 25% corporate taxes
for private universities.
For private universities be scrapped.
All right.
Hitherto, some people were not sensitive.
Okay. I'll come to you, Honorable Tetechai, but Johnny is just joined us. Johnny, good morning once again. Let's check some comments.
Absolutely, and the first one is from Alasan Wanai. Says, good morning, our next National Youth Organizer, Kamal Dean.
Oh, really?
You're one of the pioneers who has fought seriously towards 2016 victory. Big ups, Honorable. So they're calling you Honorable already, Kamal. We wish you all the best. Good morning, Mr. Brighton and crew. It's hard time our universities give us the breakdown of students' fees, more especially University of Education, Winneba. Ansu Jebo from Sunyani is asking, good morning, TV3. I want to know why you like showing that good for nothing. Okay, so you're lambasting us for showing the telenovelas, but well, I guess we show Ghanaian movies as well. So right after New Day, you get the Ghanaian movies coming up for you. Alhaji Mashoud in Tamale says, good morning to you all. The senior minister, Yasafu Mafo, has disappointed us by announcing that government can employ public sector, hide and seek, is that what you say? We're promised during the campaign. 2020 is just around the corner. Alonso Wana says it's obvious that Ghana will work and work again. This is because His Excellency Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia has said that 70% of the government contracts will be given to Ghanaian local businesses to encourage and strengthen the economy. As this Don Laiwa says, TV3 remains the best TV station in Ghana. Keep updating us and viewers. However, the senior minister and his government promised Ghanaian youth prominent jobs and now backtracking. I hope the 110 ministers too will be laid off, as he said. Very, very bad indeed. Ayande in Kumasi, it says, well, Sir Kokofu nursing training is taking illegal fees from students who have without basis. My ward was referred in her final licensure exam, and she came back to reset for the paper. She was made to stay home for the exam. No revision for these students. Now, the results are out and they're being told to pay for revision or utility bills of 300 and 200 Ghana cedis respectively before the results are given to them. Please, can you help to uncover this fraud? We'll check out that one and give you details. Good morning, TV3. Please tell the Lands Minister to be fair, because the big Galamsey gurus who had problems with the NDC, joined the NDC administration, and also represent MPP in the Ashanti region, are still actively working. You know this for a fact? Show us details. You guys are doing well. Continue telling them the truth. God will bless you all. Enough is enough from these politicians. They are taking us for granted too much. We rather voted them into office, but see their lifestyle. They will forever do their wicked things, I don't know. Well, where at all does the government want these illegal miners to get their daily bread? Create jobs for them first. TV3, good morning and thank you for your good work done. In fact, for you, when you say it goes far, so ask the government if 2015 trained teachers batch arrears will be paid by Sir Christopher and Wasa Tobiase. And good morning, guys. You guys always make my morning, especially my name is Johnny, not Danny. I'm Steve from Accra, a Nigerian businessman. Thank you very much. And good morning. It's clear that the lack of jobs makes people go into unlawful acts. But I think we need to change our attitudes as Ghanaians. I bet you, if we do not change our attitude, people will still be engaging in this illegal mining if jobs are created. Umar Farouk in Tamale. Good morning, Johnny, Amma and Bright. This Galamsey thing makes me sick and tired. I honestly think we need to kill them before they kill you and me and our entire generation. They go to the Galamsey sites with guns and other stuff. Don't forget, the best way to defend yourself is not to retreat but to attack. Vincent Chipo in Mamprobi. And thank you, TV3, for the good job you're doing. Bright is disappointing us this morning. Galamseyers are going to kill all of us. It's time for fire for fire. You think so? Okay. Good morning, TV3. Please ask Kamal, when did senior minister see that there's no space in the public sector? Ransford in Winneba. I'm losing trust in the MPP for their continuous comparing themselves with the NDC instead of helping the poor Ghanaian from poverty and unemployment. Dennis from Bedema. Good morning to you all. Senior Bright, the only way we can solve this unemployment issue is to bring the pension age to 50 years. With that, more people will go on pension so the young ones can get employed. Check the military, the age of retiring servicemen and ladies. Thank you and have a beautiful day. Jamposu in Ho. Are we saying the public sector is so full to the extent that the new university lecturers cannot be recruited? If yes, then vice chancellors of public universities should cut down admissions this year drastically, as the few lecturers in our public universities are completely overstretched. Derry in UCC. And tell the National coordinator to stop defending the reality. Can't he see that he is not comfortable in expressing his point? Really? Mahama all the way come 2020. Politicians are not serious. We are hungry and they are talking about Founders Day. Will that put food on our tables? Kwame Nisawame is quizzing. Good morning, TV3. My name is King Hassan in Zabzugu. I believe the Ghanaians have now faced the reality about their substandard government, who made them believe that the previous government is going to sack public sector workers when they're given another mandate. They are now eating back their words. And indeed, in fact, if the NDC as a political party should give us a break and allow the government to solve the mess they have accused the nation for the past years. We are tired of their propaganda way of governance, from Abdul Razak, General in Tamale, and Lamshegu in Tamale, perhaps last two, from Ambassador Giant or Giant Brian. It says, if we make basic and secondary education free and accessible, all these brouhaha about Galamsey wouldn't have happened in the first place. Education is the key. Kudos to the MPP government for the free SHS policy. Still, Kamal Dean for National Youth Organizer. The government of Nanado will have to give Ghanaians a good governance. Hardy in Takrady. Come on, you are trending this morning.
Oh, really? I am.
All around.
It's amazing.
All around.
We're not even there yet.
Okay, Johnny, I'm grateful. I'm not going to tell your take on the university fees, and then we wrap up.
My colleague tried to make a propaganda out of it, to make it look as if it is their government that has ordered this thing to be done. It is not true. Please, hold on. This morning, let me salute Honorable Mahama Ayariga.
He threatened to go to
for the bold step he took as a member of parliament on this issue. At the time he made this point, people called his bluff. Look, in Parliament, we have the Fees and Charges Act, which was even amended just in 2016, that allows public institutions that charge IGF, charge fees for their IGF, come to Parliament for approval. He looked at this thing and realized that, look, our universities are not compliant. So he came out that this year, as a member of Parliament, he will ensure that the right things were done. And some of the leaders within the university fraternity called this bluff. And he even threatened to go to court on this issue. So today, if the National Council for Tertiary Education is now telling the public universities that, look, hold on, you cannot. Because it is the law that we all need to follow.
Have to be approved.
So we need to commend the sitting member of Parliament for defending the rights of the citizenry. And please, stop the propaganda. Stop the propaganda.
All right. I'm grateful. That's how we're wrapping up the show.
What else do you want to say?
I have wrapped up the show. I'm grateful, gentlemen, for your time this morning. Kamadin Abdullahi is the NPP's National Nasra Coordinator. Honorable Chief Lotete is a former member of Parliament for the NDC and a member of the NDC. Okay, gentlemen, I'm grateful for Tuesday morning.
Right, thank you so much.
And those of you who stayed there to be part of the show, we're also grateful. Keep your comments coming. We'll read them in the course of the show. Sports is up next.